the drill. Capital letter Q for important questions or comments. And capital letter N if you are new to the broadcasting would like a little welcome.
Are we being gender fluid?
Oh no, we're just being silly.
Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Time. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at news from our city, state, and country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions about how to best enjoy Puerto Vallarta, our city, as a community of English-speaking locals. And welcome to those of you who watch on YouTube later on in the day. And last but not least, welcome to those of you who keep ties with Puerto Vallarta even while you don't live here full time. It is a pleasure to see you and read you today. It is Saturday, August 10, and yes, I'm still broadcasting from the Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork. I'm still without internet at home. It's been 15 days, and I don't know what to tell you other than the fact that it had been a long time since I did daily commutes to work. But, you know, there's a lot of things to be grateful for, so I'm going to lean on that and not get frustrated, although it's been trying. But hey, tomorrow is a day off, and I'm looking forward to a lot of rest and relaxation. I'm going to love reading your comments, but first I want to just share a couple of quick news, and I have an interview to share with you today. There's not a lot of news, so it's a good thing that we have other things to look at. For starters, you know, the nice folks along San Salvador Street were hoping for street improvements to be completed. Well, if you wanted a new street, you got it. This is the street that connects with the Puerto Vallarta Cemetery and the seafood market. And of course, a lot of people wanted to see this finished. It was started, and then the government stopped for no apparent reason. The neighbors manifested and protested. And now, as you can see, it is now being completely repaved. This, of course, is never ideal. There's no good time of the year for these kinds of things to happen. But hopefully soon enough, the pavement along San Salvador Street will be finished and everyone will be happy. I caught this bit of news this morning. While Governor Alfaro continues to lobby for federal support to improve the state's highways, he has also expressed concern about the lack of communication with President Elect Claudia Sheinbaum. Sheinbaum, actually. We remember now that it is Sheinbaum, not Scheinbaum. Unfortunately, our governor has also not received any communication from the Ministry of Communication and Transportation. Let us just remember that what's at stake here is the well-being of our federal highways, which are, of course, under the responsibility of the federal government. So it is good to see that even during his final months, Governor Alfaro is looking after the well-being of our state and the residents that live here. And hopefully this issue will be resolved. Let us jump directly onto the weather. And I'll have some more announcements to share with you in a second. Let's see, the weather says, now this is weather forecasting. I don't know what that means or why it makes it any different than any other day, but I can tell you we are now enjoying 30 degrees Celsius. Humidity is at 73%. And our weather forecast for today says we're going to have mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 63%, a high of 31, and a low of 25. Then tomorrow, Sunday, we will have scattered thunderstorms throughout the day, a chance of rain of 79%, a high of 30, and a low of 25. What a nice set of circumstances to stay home and chill. And then we will begin the work week on Monday with mostly cloudy skies in the morning and thunderstorms in the afternoon, with an even higher chance of rain of 81%, a high temperature of 31, and a low temperature of 24. Now, next on the things that I want to share with you today, let me get myself back here. You know, we enjoy hearing origin stories of Puerto Vallarta. We frequently do, and there's always some common threads. A lot of times we hear of people that started coming here for a weekend and then they liked it and then they came back and then maybe they chose to stay for a whole week and then a whole month and then several months, and before you know it, we run into people that unexpectedly found themselves renting a place full time. Such is the case of dear friend and cluster member Albert Friss, who was here up until this morning to take care of his permanent residence. And those of us that know Albert were curious prior to his trip because we knew that this was going to be his first trip during the summer months. He had never experienced summer in Puerto Vallarta. So some mutual friends and I were curious as to whether he would enjoy the summer experience, the hot and humid experience. And to capture his impressions, I conducted a brief interview with him just the other day. There's a couple of video freezes on the interview that I cannot explain, but I wanted to share this with you completely unedited so that if you have been curious about spending time in Puerto Vallarta during the summer months and haven't done so yet, you would have at least one more impression from a first-time summer traveler. Take a look.
Bad sense of humor.
Bad sense of humor. Okay, everybody, hello. This is me, and I'm sitting here with cluster friend and personal friend Albert Friss. And I wanted to talk to you, Albert, because something has happened in this visit that might be of interest to other potential visitors. So many people are not inclined to come here during the summer because it's hot, it's sweaty, it's humid. And this is, I understand, the first time that you've been here during the summer, right?
Yes, it is.
What has that been like for you?
Brutal. Initially brutal. Well, first off, I didn't really have a choice. I had to come in the summer because when I was going for my permanent residency, the facilitator told me, if you come in the winter, they close for the 2 weeks at the end of the year for Christmas, and there probably wouldn't be enough time because so many people are going for it. So first, I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was the first night I was here, I got together with friends, and for the people that know me normally, they'll know that I walk everywhere. And even the Moro Paraíso, there, walk back. When everybody else goes, are you crazy? So I walked home, and to a person, everybody said, oh, call us when you get back. Call us when you get home. Text us, let us know. And I thought, what's the big deal? So about 3/4 of the way through, I thought, that's the big deal. I was totally unprepared for how draining it could be. And then at that point, it was the embarrassment of, do I call an Uber to go 8 blocks? Or do I just continue walking and going home? And when I got home and I sat on the couch and I thought I would pass out, I said, okay, lesson learned. You have to pace yourself. It's necessary to understand what's going on with the weather. How warm is it going to be? But also, lastly, very wise advice from my friends, do not trust the weather app, because the weather app is not accurate for other than the heat. So I think for me, that was the hardest part, because I tend to drive myself. Part of the reason I walk so much is so I can eat so much. And all my friends know I pretty much have a prodigious appetite here. And you can't do that unless you're working off calories. So I think that's the hardest.
Walking in humidity is never fun.
That was the brutal part.
And once you learned that part, what other survival lessons, actually, even before I ask you that, let me cut to the chase. Would you come back in the summer, and would you recommend to other people coming here in the summer?
The answer is yes, I would, but understand the limitations.
Okay, so you've mentioned the walking as a limitation. What other new guidelines or rules did you learn for yourself that might be helpful to other people if they choose to come down here in the summer months?
The time of day you do stuff.
Important. Absolutely.
I made the second mistake.
Uh-huh.
You know, how many do I allow myself? I made the second mistake of going out at maybe 1 o'clock to go to the market. And I was just walking to Lay's, which is 5 blocks away. And again, I had that conversation with myself. Okay, Al, you need to do it early, which I knew. People said that. But I guess I was stubborn enough where I needed to see it myself. And it's a very important lesson. But things are still doable. Here's the way I look at it. It's almost a completely different lifestyle.
Yes.
Coming down here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would call it completely different, but you certainly have to schedule yourself and pace yourself differently. Yes.
Total adjustments, which
yes.
I've never had to do before. And I found that to be the most, not frustrating, almost interesting. Everything, my whole routine totally changed. The only thing that stayed the same was having my papaya in the morning. That was the only thing that stayed the same. Coffee, there was nothing like having iced coffee and having it drip on you with the condensation. Too much information, to cool you off. I tried hot coffee the first morning and went, oh, never again. It's crazy. So I guess those types of things.
Now, here's an interesting one that a lot of people bring up about the summer. Restaurants closed and there's nowhere to go. I know you to be a restaurant lover and you like to eat out and you like to explore eateries. Have you been affected by myriad restaurants that are closed for the summer?
Funny you asked that, because the answer is yes. And what I wish is that more restaurants followed your advice and updated their Facebook page and say closed for the season. It would make life a lot easier, because many times I've gone to one place, then I've gone to the next place, and then realized, oh, hell, okay, I'm going back to one of my regulars that I know is open. The other thing is not that they're closed, but they close earlier. And they close earlier because there's not as many people going out. I mean, many is the time that I have been the only person in some of my favorite restaurants, and yet they'll have 4 or 5 staff there. And I almost feel guilty, like I'm keeping them there, but why are they there? Just for Alberto.
But you're not starving.
Oh, God, no.
Would you argue, and I don't mean to put ideas in your head and otherwise manipulate our conversation, would you argue that summertime is a great time of year to try other eateries?
Well, yeah, especially ones with air conditioning. The answer is yes, because if a lot of my regulars are closed, that forces me to then find others that maybe I normally wouldn't have gone to. And also specifically in my area, I have found the other thing that happens is I tend to not like to travel too far. because it's the thought of, it's hot, I gotta do the Uber or the bus. Do I want to go that far? There's got to be something closer here that maybe I haven't tried. So yeah, absolutely.
So it's inspired you to explore other things.
Even more than I normally do. And usually I'm pretty good. I look at Facebook the whole time and I look at all of the different sites. What's the new restaurant? What are people saying about it? And I'll put it on my Google map and I'll put a wanna go kind of a sign. So that when I look at that map, seeing where I am, I'll go, oh, maybe I'll try that one. But now I know to check to make sure they're open.
Is there any other bit of wisdom or advice that you would give to someone that is intent on not visiting Puerto Vallarta in the summer months because of what they were told?
Well, first off, I think you shouldn't listen to what anybody says about places. I put that in the same category as you eat the food, you drink the water, you do what? You walk? Are you crazy? And my comment is always, I'm from Los Angeles. And I always say to people, okay, at 2 a.m., would you go to Watts and walk around staggering because you drank too much? And the answer, of course you would. So I think it's the same here, absolutely the same. And actually, I would suggest it's worth it to get out of your comfort level. I did. And what I find is new things that I didn't expect. And it's as exciting, it's as fun as it is in the winter. It's just I do it in a slightly different way, which makes it new again.
Albert, thank you so much for your wisdom. I certainly hope that your comments and insights will be helpful to some of the people that watch us on a regular basis. I live here full time, as you know, and I have gotten used to the summers. But it's been interesting to watch you.
Well, I'm a kid, not to interrupt, but I'm a kid from Southern California. We're weenies when it comes to weather in Southern California. There's the old Steve Martin movie, something California or whatever, and he's the weatherman. And it's not even a real weather map. It's the same every day. Here, it's different every 10 minutes. I find that fascinating.
There you go. So if you want to be fascinated by Puerto Vallarta in the summer,
don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
There you go.
Try it.
There you go. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And that was my quick and dirty interview with Albert. Oh my God, my lights are really weird today. I'm sorry about that. Anyhow, that is what Albert shared with us. And I have a couple of other things that I want to share with you. I'll take a look at your comments in a second. First of all, the cat is out of the bag. I have now published an event for my next presentation, which will be on Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. This will be on Thursday, August 22nd at 5 o'clock here at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork. In wonderful air-conditioned comfort, we will take a look at the life and music and accomplishments of the wonderful late Aretha Franklin. And as long as we are looking at events, just a quick reminder, the Spotlight's next episode is going to take place on August 14, and it is already posted. So if you want to join me on the Spotlight, you now have two options. You can join me here live and in person at the Café Rio, or you can join us remotely with your own webcam. Either way, registration is required. It is free, but we like to know ahead of time who is going to be spending some quality time with us. Last but not least, a couple of other events that we've been tracking through the week. These are just quick reminders. First of all, there's a ramen week coming up at Bonito Kitchen starting on the 12th. There is Oculto's Salsa Master cooking class where you will learn how to make 4 salsas and an extra surprise salsa. This is on the 13th. Then we are also tracking a tequila tasting experience at El Rey Lounge, which takes place on the 14th, and also at the Rey Lounge, their next drag queen brunch, which will take place on the 24th. You can find information about all these events on Facebook, and they have been referenced in show notes throughout all of our week. And now let's take a quick look at what's on your minds. Okay, let's see. Good mornings all around. Thank you so very much for that. I always appreciate that very much. And speak of the devil, Albert, last night's dinner was wonderful. Thank you very much. Safe travels back home and safe travels when you come back in a couple of months. Let's see what else we have. Oh, I know, Dan. My opening with Dora was recorded in my apartment several weeks ago, so I wish I was home. I mean, I'm enjoying Karina's company. She has pampered me for the last couple of weeks with amazing coffees and lattes and frozen drinks. Oh my God, and smoothies. This is really a good deal. But I miss my mellow mornings, that's for sure. Let's see what else we have. Devin asks, what's the holdup with your internet service? Devin, my hunch, and this is just a hunch, based on other comments that I've seen online, and there are a lot of people, not only in Puerto Vallarta, but throughout all of Mexico that are suffering from lack of decent service from Telmex. I think a lot of what's going on is they just don't have enough staff. And I mean the technical staff to go out and conduct the repairs. I don't know what they pay. I don't know what their benefits are. I read at least one or two comments of technicians that had to be brought in from Guadalajara because Telmex doesn't have enough technical staff. But again, I'm just guessing. It's a stretch. It is very frustrating, and I'm trying to not let that frustration permeate into my interactions with my friends and also my interactions with you here at Coffee and Headlines. So I appreciate the question, and I appreciate all the love and support that I have received in the last couple of weeks. Let's see what else we have. Anything goes, JC. JC says, I'll go to the neighborhood witch and see if she can conjure up a spell to get you to the top of the repair list. That would be awesome. And if the witch is not a she, and if the witch is a he, and he's kind of handsome, make sure that you send him my way. Just kidding. Let's see what else we have. Devin says, honestly, I don't think I'd enjoy Puerto Vallarta's summer months. I wouldn't hold that against you or anyone, Devin. It is a personal preference. The good thing is that our city and its surrounding areas offer a lot of choices for different comfort levels. So, you know, if you have pinpointed the time that you enjoy being here, then good for you. My only wish for you or anyone that is waffling about Puerto Vallarta in the summer is that you give yourself the opportunity to experience it at least once so that you can have an educated experience that you enjoyed, not somebody else told you, and take it from there. But hey, I totally hear you. Let's see. And I'm liking your comments because I see people commenting that our local Pat, of course, lives here in town. And yes, I'm completely in agreement with this. I mean, I try to get most things done early in the day and late in the evening just because the middle of the day gets really hot out there. Let's see what else we have. The summer season sounds brutal. Again, JC, same remark. You know, it's easy for us to paint it brutal, but you know, we have a population of 200 and something or 300,000 people. So even if it's brutal, it's not unlivable. The question becomes a personal thing, of course. Let's see what else. Oh, thank you for your remarks on the interview. I appreciate that very much. Devin says, Aretha's song with George Michael, it is a good one. I'll make sure to include it in the presentation. Oh, Dan, thank you so very much for that. You know, I didn't go to interview school or anything, but I just always want to make sure that whoever I'm having a conversation with feels comfortable, because if they don't, you know, how can we have a comfortable, enjoyable conversation? Which opens up another idea. If anybody in the cluster, if any of you ever wants to, you know, talk about something that is on your mind or interesting, you know, just give me a holler. I mean, that's essentially what the spotlight is for. And all you have to do is come keep me company here at the Joint Boutique Hotel at Café Rio on Wednesday afternoons, or just get in touch. Let's see what else we have. Thank you for that, Albert. I appreciate that. You must be about to head to the airport. Again, I hope your flight is uneventful. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my goodness. I love that. Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. Devin says, my family will go bonkers when the internet is down for 10 minutes. You know, I totally hear you. And then Bill says, easy. Here is the problem, and I could be wrong. There is such a thing as unlimited internet, and then there is such a thing as internet providers that give you a number of megs to upload and download per month. And then that number gets replenished and it gets reset for the following month. For the ability to broadcast something like Coffee and Headlines, constant unlimited internet service is required. So I am now in the process of researching who offers that service at a reasonable price or at all. The only provider that I have identified would be Starlink. But, you know, I need to have a backup, and I am definitely ready to divorce myself from Telmex after almost 2 decades of being a client. I'll keep you posted because this might be of interest to some people out there. Am I the only one without Telmex in my neighborhood, or is it a widespread outage? I know that there are people on my building that don't have a problem. I also know that there's a distribution box on the sidewalk 1 block away from my apartment. And it is at that distribution box where a lot of the problems happen, because a technician might come and fix something on someone's phone and inadvertently disconnect somebody else's. That is what has happened to me in the past, and I suspect that is what is going on right now. So what is needed, based on my previous experience, is for a technician to drive to the 1 block away from my house, take a look at the connections from there, and based on that, determine where the problem is taking place. There's also a slim possibility that the wires within my building are just too old and need to be replaced. But again, I'm speculating, and all I can do is simply wait. Good attitude, Devin. I absolutely would like to experience the summer months at least once. See, here's an interesting one, Devin. For example, last week, it rained a number of days in a row, and that tends to lower our temperature somewhat, or at least remove some of the humidity. This week, it has barely rained. So it's been one day after another, after another, after another, without a break. And when that happens, and it will happen from time to time, it can feel more frustrating than other days. This is interesting. I have not been to Calgary, but Summers here don't compare to winters in Calgary. We'd much rather deal with the heat than jump in the pool, which is not possible at minus 25. See, that is something to be considered. And here is a recommendation for Starlink. Dan and I have had Starlink for almost 2 years. It even worked during the hurricane. It's a little expensive initially, but it's 1,050 pesos per month. Again, that would be more than what I'm paying right now, but I have experienced the Starlink satellite in 2 occasions. One last year when we went to San Sebastián del Oeste, and our dear cluster friend Daniel brought his dish along, so we were able to connect from San Sebastián, and also from my dear friend and joint boutique hotel owner, Eric. He has a house in El Tuito, so I've broadcast from his home using Starlink, so I am aware of the fact that the service is really a good deal. So starting this week, I'm going to start doing some research, and I'll keep you posted on how that goes. And I think this is where we wrap up another week of remote broadcasting. Again, I want to thank Karina at El Rio Café Rio, and I want to thank Eric and all the staff here at the Joint Boutique Hotel for making it so wonderful for me to be able to do my work from here and not from home. I would like to wish you all an amazing rest of the weekend. Stay kind, stay connected, stay in touch, and I'll see you again Monday morning. Have a good one. Ay, me quiero ir a dormir. Ay, ay, ay.